All right, welcome back to the channel. We've got another video for you today, and the subject we're covering today is the sample record button, which is one of the 15 buttons, the first of the 15 mode buttons, which is on the right hand side of the MPC 4000, right here. So in this video today, we're going to cover all aspects of sampling using the sample record button. We're going to be recording in digital, in analog. We're going to be recording the CD, the internal CD of the MPC 4000, and we're going to be recording an internal sequence from an MPC 4000. And we're also going to be using the QFX option, which is on the sample record page also. So we're going to take you through it. All right. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to press the sample button. So I'm going to press that right now. You come onto this screen here. I'm going to zoom in so you can see properly. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sample something off of I've got a Roland V-Synth set up. I've got it connected to my MPC 4000. I'll show you. So here, we just got a sequence set up. There's nothing in the sequence. I've just got it set up so it plays the V-Synth. Here, MIDI output D. That's what I've got my V-Synth plugged into.
Omnia sol temperat purus et subtil. Omnia sol temperat pur omnia.
That's basically just the first preset off of the V-Synth. So we're going to be sampling that. So I'm going to skip over to my record page again. So I'm going to press record button. So here we got the screen. So when I press the pad, as you can see, it comes up on the readout there. So here I'm selecting analog in. You've got different input sources. I'm going to take you through them in this video. So these are the input sources that you can use. We've got analog in, digital in. We're going to be using both of them. Main out, which is the main outputs of the MPC 4000. Whatever it's got inside of it, whatever it's playing, it can sample it. And then we've got ADAT. I'm not actually using ADAT. I've got no ADAT connections. I've got a card in the back of the machine, but I'm not actually using any ADAT connections in my studio whatsoever. And then we got internal analog, which is the CD player, the internal CD player. So we're going to be discussing all of those options. So first of all, we're dealing with the analog in. So with the analog in, it is I've got two 1/4-inch jack connectors connected to the back of the MPC 4000. And I'll show you that right now. For my analog input, it's exactly the same. I've got a left and right main out coming out of the analog outputs out of my desk, and they go into that line mic record in. And this is how it will look, like this. So now, there's other options on this page. You can sample in stereo, which is how I'm sampling, or you can sample just one channel, left or right. And you can do that. That's how you can. Then you got the bit rate. You can sample at 16-bit or 24-bit. As the signal comes in, the converters convert it to 24-bit if you're coming in at 16-bit, or if you're coming in at analog, it just converts it. So here you got a monitor, so you can monitor what you're sampling. You can listen to what you're sampling, but you have to be careful with this in case you get feedback. So be careful. Make sure you got your stuff turned down before you switch this on, in case it blows something. Here, you can set your original key, your root key. So if you want to make your sample into a key group program, here you would select what your middle key is. And here you got the auto normalize. So you can switch this on if you want to auto normalize your stuff. It's pretty good function. Here you set your threshold for when your recording starts. As you can see, you can move it up and down. So as soon as the level touches that threshold setting there, it starts the recording. Here you got the amount of time that you can sample for. Here, as you can see, I'm fully loaded, so it's got 50 minutes. (50 minutes, 26 seconds). Here, we've got the threshold, we've got the trigger. So this is how you record. This is how you start the recording. So here I've got it set to threshold, but you can trigger it by MIDI. Here you set the channel, the input channel of the MIDI signal coming in. Or you can have manual, which is where you just press the button and it starts recording. So, but we're gonna set it to threshold. So we're gonna set the threshold. Put it about there, that'll do. Doesn't matter about the time because you stop the recording when you want anyway, unless you know the amount of time that the sample lasts for, then you can set that. But I'm just gonna leave that because I'm using the stop button anyway. At the bottom of the screen here, where the F1, F2 buttons are, you have a reset peak, so you can reset your peak. After you've recorded something, it leaves a peak, so you can press that and it resets it. Or you got the Q effects, F4, which stands for quick effects. We're gonna go into that as well. Also, if you go on any of these options here on the record screen, on the record sample screen, and press the window button, then you get this page that comes up. Here you can change the bit depth here as well. But it has this here, the pre-recording time. So basically you can add a little delay in between your recording when your recording starts. So that's what that's for, milliseconds. So that's the only other option you got with the window button inside the record page. So if I press record now, it should arm the recorder, it will arm the sampler. So now after you press the record button and it arms up, it has this screen here, record ready, waiting for input signal. You can press start and record if you want. You can press the start button and record, or you can just trigger it by the sound that you're playing. So I'm gonna trigger it by the sound that I'm playing. I'm just gonna play this V-Synth sound.
Omnia sol temperat purus et subtilis.
So now, after you stop the recording, this screen comes up. It says keep or retry. So you can keep it if you want, or there's an option at the bottom there, you can add to program, then it will take you to another screen where you can have a new program or add to existing program. Or you can play, so I'll play it now.
Omnia sol temperat purus et subtilis.
That's the actual sample itself. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna name it quickly. V-Synth One. And then you just press enter. And then here again, you got the same options. This is after you name it. I'm just gonna press keep. So keep. So that's it, we got one sample there. So that's how you sample in analog from the analog inputs. So next, I'm gonna sample through the digital. So the way I've got my setup is I've got both analog and digital connections coming out of my mixing desk. So I've got the analog ins of my MPC 4000, they're connected to the analog outputs of my desk. And then I've got a digital output that goes into the back of my MPC from my desk as well. I'll show you the back of the MPC, what it looks like. All right, so this is the back. We're concentrating here on the digital I/O, in, out. What I'm using one of these here. That goes into the in on the digital I/O. The other end of this lead here is an XLR. So I'm using AES EBU connection from my mixer. So one end is this end here, this gold tip end here, which is basically a SP diff type end, but the other end that comes from my mixer is an XLR. So I use the stereo output of my desk. That's what I'm using right now. So I'm using the stereo, and it goes through this one cable into the digital in, like this. So I get a stereo signal, whatever plays into my mixing desk, whatever it is, I've got a digital stereo main output from my desk. So it transmits the main output through this digital cable. So that's what I used to sample in digital. So here we go now. Same thing. You can either sample in stereo or mono. All of these options are exactly the same as before. Apart from the input source is different, and we're sampling from digital now. So now I'm going to record this. I'll press record. Again, we come to this screen waiting for input signal, and I'm going to press it again.
Omnia sunt temperat purus et subtilis.
Now I'm going to press stop. We come to this here. So now I'm going to name this one. As you can see, it keeps the name kind of similar, but it just puts a 1 on it. So I'm just going to change it a bit anyway and put vsynth 2 and now enter. Now I'm going to keep that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to sample the main output of the MPC 4000, which is basically whatever's inside the MPC 4000, whatever is in the memory, in the sequence, and it plays it. That's what we're going to record through the main outputs. So we're going to switch this over to main out here. So I've got a sequence set up. I've got my demo song set up. So we've got this drum or the bell. So we're just going to use this bell. Let's grab the bell. So we're going to grab that. So we, again, press the record sample button. We come here now. So again, when I press play start on the MPC 4000 on that sequence that I was just on, as you can see, it's playing, but it's pretty low. I've got my input set low. So here, we're going to use the auto normalize feature to boost this level. I could turn it up with the gain, but I'm going to use this just to show you as an example. So again, we're going to stop the recording, stop it from playing, sorry. And now I'm going to press record. As you can see, it says waiting for input sample. So now I'm going to just press it. As you can see, it's recording. When you press stop on the F key, it stops the sequencer as well. So now here we go, we got this screen again. So we're just gonna name it. We're gonna call it B synth, because it's the bell. So we just call it B synth 1. Okay, so now we're gonna press enter. Okay, here you can play it. So I'm gonna hold the play button, F3, so you can, as you can hear, it's being normalized through the setting, the auto normalize setting. So I'm gonna keep that. Okay, so now we're gonna sample from the internal CD player, the CD rewriter. So now we'll go over to here, it says internal analog. So I'm just gonna sample track 16 here. Here you can scroll through your tracks. Here you can pick your track. As you can see down there, it says track 16. It tells you how many samples you got in your memory at the bottom there, and how much free memory you got. It's got an eject button for the CD, and you got the quick effects option there still as well, which we will be discussing later on. So if you're sampling from CD, you have to have the monitor on to be able to hear it. Otherwise you won't hear nothing. So all of these are the same. All of these options are exactly the same as on the other screen for the other input sources. So now I'll just play the CD. I'll just play. So as you can see, it plays in stereo, the CD player, and it shows you on the screen there, on the indicator. So you can pick any side. You can pick the left or right channel. If you prefer a specific side, you can do that with any of the options here, the input source options. You can sample left or right. So if one side you prefer the left than the right, then you can sample whichever one you want. As I said before, you can sample in 16-bit or 24-bit, and the converters just convert the audio into 24-bit. So whatever you're sampling from, even the CD player, even though the CD player is 16-bit and it plays in 16-bit, the MPC 4000 can convert that data into 24-bit. Okay, so let me show you how to record. You just simply press the record button as normal, record, and then wait for the signal. I just press play start. So you just press record, play. Again, we come to this screen here. I'm gonna name this here CD synth 11. Enter. Keep or add to program or retry. You can play it here. Let's press play. And we press keep. And that's it. That's how you record from a CD. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to record samples from whichever source with effects on, Q effects, which is the F4 button. So the way we do this is we press the F4 button, Q effects, on the record sample page. So I've just pressed that now, and you get this page that comes up. It says quick effects, and then you got an option there, one option that says mode. Right now it's off, so I'm gonna switch it. So the first option that comes up is this here. It says command. These are basically like factory effects settings. Okay, there's different ones. I'll take you through them now. First, we got whirl, distance, Cosmo, rumble, robot, under C. That's it. That's all of them. There's only those. So with each one of these settings, it has two attributes that go along with it. So with this, power, if you want to know more in depth about them, you just go to the manual, and the manual breaks each one of these down, exactly what they are. So, like I said, you have two attributes with each setting. So with this power setting, you have a threshold and an attack. So I'm going to go with massive drum. So I'm just going to muck around with this. Settings. And then you press close. My monitor's switched on, and that's why I'm getting feedback, you see. So make sure your monitor's switched off. Okay. So now I've got a demo track. I've got a demo track here, just some drums. So what it is, because my MPC goes into my mixer, it comes directly back out the mixer, and then it goes in to the back of my MPC through a digital cable and through analog cables. So it's flexible. My setup is very flexible when it comes to sampling and things like that. But like I said, if you have your monitor switched on, just be careful and make sure your stuff is turned down in case it blows one of your speakers or something like that. So if I press play here, as you can see, it's playing my sequence, but I'm recording it through the analog ins. I could do it as well through the digital ins, as you can see. So if I record this, I'm going to record this now with that effect on, command effect. So I'll press record. So right now, it comes with this screen again. So we're just gonna rename this Drum 1. We can play this, so let's play that and see what it sounds like with the effect on. So you can experiment with those effects and see which one you like. So we've kept that one now. All right, so next we're gonna use, so if we press the record button again, we're at this page here. So now we're gonna go on to Q effects again. So we press Q effects. So with this command setting, you can actually have two. You can have two on at the same time. You can choose which ones you want, set them up however you want, and you can have both of them playing at the same time, okay? And also here, you got the send. You got the amount of that effect you want send to the main outs that you're sampling, okay? So you can turn this down, as you can see, to -40, okay? So that's the command mode page for the quick effects explained for you, okay? So now I'm gonna move on to the effects part. So if we scroll over one more time, it has this page here, which is the effects page, okay? Quick effects, mode effects. So here again, we got the same send. You can turn it up and down, how much of the effect you want sent to the main. And then also here, we got the mix out. So you can change it here as well. You can change the mix here and the out, how much out. And then here, you can switch it on or off. And you can also have two effects playing at one time, okay? As you can see here, it has the link. You can link them. But one thing about this page is, don't get it confused with the actual effects page, because it hasn't got anything to do with the effects page whatsoever. So as you can see here, it says distortion. If I press the effects, so I'm going to press the effect page, the mode button effect. So As you can see here, it says no effect. That's because there's no effects on the main page. But on the record page, it has its own effects unit. So if I press this button again, Q effects, F4, it's going to bring me into this page here. Okay, so I'm just going to use some distortion here. Okay, if you want to edit the settings for the distortion, here you pick it, you choose from a list. It's the same list as the effects page. Okay, and then you press select for whatever effect you want. So I'll press select. Then what you want to do from here, if you want to edit the actual effect itself, you press edit, and then here it's got the settings. You can also change what effect you've chosen here at the top. Okay, or you can mess with the effect settings here, and you can switch it on or off from here. Same like the effects page, but like I said, this is just for the record sample page. It has its own effects unit built into it. So once we've picked that, press close. It's on, everything's right. We're gonna let's pick something else. Let's go back to the V-synth.
Omnia sol tempera, omnia sol
Okay, so let's go back to the record. We press record mode button.
Omnia sol tempera.
I'm recording this through my analog inputs. Okay, I'm triggering it like I showed you through this sequence here. Output D, which is my V-synth, as you can see. So now we go back to recording the analog in. We can do it through the digital as well. So what we want to do now, we've set the effect up. The effect is on, so we press record. It's waiting for signal.
Omnia sol temperat purus et subtilis.
Stop that. So let's play that.
Omnia sol temperat purus et subtilis.
So you hear the distortion on there. All right, so let's name this. I'm gonna call it V-synth. DS for distortion. Press enter. You've got the same options: play, add to program, or keep. We're gonna keep this. So we press that, and that's it. That's how to record with the QFX effects mode. It's pretty simple. And QFX doesn't work on your main outputs. It doesn't come up. So if I press QFX on the main out input source, comes up with the quick effects screen. But if you go to turn the rotary knob, nothing will happen. It will just stay on off. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna record a sample using the Q link in real time. So how you do that is you set up a Q link first. So I've set up a Q link. As you can see here, we got fader, this fader here, fader 5. We've just got the filter. We're just messing around with the filter. So here we got this bell. That's what I'm messing around with, the filter for the bell. So as you can hear, I'm moving the fader. And it's affecting the sound of the bell, okay? So this is a sequence. This is just a key group program here. Bell. I'll show you this program quickly. It's just a key group program, okay? There it is right there. Bell. It just has one sound stretched across the keyboard. but we're going to go into that in another video. So here we've got the bell sequence. We have the Q-link effect on it. Okay, set up, you set that up. You have to set them up, and then you have to set up, obviously, I've set up a filter on there, okay? So that's why it's being affected by the Q-link, okay? It doesn't work. When you're on this page, a Q-link doesn't actually work when you're on this page here, okay? But it works in the record page. So now we're gonna press record sample button. Come back to this page here. If I press play, so now let's record that. But in fact, this time I'm going to record it in mono, and then I'm going to record 24-bit, okay? And just to show you, okay? So let's press record, waiting for signal. So there it is right there. So let's play that. Press the play button, F3. See, that recorded with two effects on. That recorded with the distortion and the Q effects. So let's just save this. We're going to call it DS VSynth DS. We're going to call it DSQ. There it is, DSQ 24. We'll call this because we made it 24-bit, and we'll say M for mono. Okay, so we'll enter that. Keep. That's it. I just showed you how to record a sample with Q-link and Q effects, both at the same time. So what I'm going to do now is just switch off the Q effects. So we just press F4. So, mode, we just turn that off. So now that's off. So we still got our Q-link effect on, okay? So I'm just gonna record another sample. So this time we'll do the right channel. Mono right in 24-bit, analog in. In fact, let's go digital in this time, okay? So we're gonna record this sample now. So let's just check the sequence is right. So we've got the right sequence on. Let's press the record button again, record sample, come back to the page. Got it set up. So now we press record, waiting for signal. And that's it right there. So as you can see, it gives it another name. So we just leave it as this one here, so we know what it is. Play it. Let's play this. Enter first. Set the name. Now we're gonna play it. As you can hear, the QFX has recorded in live. Okay. So we'll just keep this. We'll press the button, keep, and that's it. We've got it right there. And that's how you record with Q links on its own, live, in real time. All right. So I had to rewire something quickly just to show you how to record Q effects and listen to it, be able to listen to the actual effect in real time with the monitor on. Because the thing is, if you're using a desk, you might get a loop. So in order to actually be able to listen to the Q-link effect in real time, what I've done is I've I've wired a output from my V-Synth directly from the V-Synth into the MPC 4000, and then I've switched off the 2 channels that it runs through my mixing desk on. So they're not going through the desk, it's going straight, I'm triggering it from the MPC 4000, and then it's going straight into the MPC 4000 with an analog input, which I'll show you. So if you want to avoid the feedback, what I did is I wired a analog 1/4" jack lead cable into this phones here. So then I went out of the phones into the back of the MPC, into the analog mic line in. So instead of going through the desk, I've disabled the outputs from the V-Synth into the desk. So it's not playing through the desk, it's playing directly into the MPC. So that's why I'm not getting no feedback when I do it like that, through the analog or through the digital. So like I said, I'm using the phones out directly from the V-Synth, and I've disabled the main outputs from the back of the V-Synth that go into the mixer. And I'm just gonna go straight from the V-Synth into here, mic line. I'm just gonna run a mono just for the sake of the video, just to demonstrate it. So that's it, that's how you avoid feedback. So what happens is when you wire it like this, it's going directly from the V-Synth straight into the back of the MPC, and then it's being like, the effects are being put on it in real time within the machine. Instead of, let's say you went through the back of the desk. If you come out the back of the desk, the back of the V-Synth into the desk, and then went into the MPC, when you switch the monitor on the MPC, you'll get feedback because it's playing the signal that it's actually taking in as well. So you'll get a loop. Yeah, so that's basically how feedback works and loops work. So in order to do this, if you want to listen to your actual effect in real time, like I said, I've wired a Roland V-Synth directly into the MPC 4000, and I'm triggering it from the MPC 4000, as I've showed you here. We've got output D, okay, which is my V-Synth, yeah? So it's no longer going through the desk, it's going straight into the MPC. So what we want to do, press record, okay? So we're going to record it through the analog in, because I've plugged it from the V-Synth straight into the analog input on the back of the MPC 4000. So here we got monitor, right? Like I said, you could get loops depending on how your studio is connected, okay? So like I said, with this video, I'm showing you right now with this demonstration how to not have a loop, okay? And that the way you do that is wire the synth or the sample or whatever you're gonna sample directly, okay? And then you switch it off, switch the channels off on your mixer. So now, what I'm gonna do is turn on the monitor. We won't get no feedback, okay? Because it's not connected to the mixer, it's not coming back into the back of my MPC. So there's no loop, okay? So if I press, as you can hear, so if I press Q effects, I've got a Q effect on, I've got distort on. Let's change this one. Let's change it to this one here. So you can change it, okay? Let's change it again. Tuning. Tuning here. They're just drum settings. See? So you can actually listen to it, but you just got to make sure that you have no loop in your connections, because if you've got a loop, then you'll just get feedback and you might blow your speakers or something like that. So this is what I'm warning you about. So we come out of this, as you can see, I'm triggering my V-Synth and it's playing directly into my MPC this time, okay? So if you want your monitors on, if you want to hear what's going on, that's how you've got to do it. You've got to make sure you've got no loop in your audio connections. So let me press Q effects again. This works with both settings. The command setting, like I said, you can have two. You can actually have two on at once, two command effects. And you can also have two effects. So let's change this one here. Let's just have flange of ham. That's off. We got the send, which is the total volume. Okay. And then this is the mix here. This is the mix of the actual effect. Okay. And you can have, like I said, you can have two. You can have, let's put another one. So you can have a total of you can have 4 effects on at one time in the quick effects for your record page. So yeah, you can have 4. It's not 2, it's 4. Okay. So you can have 4 effects and then you can have 2 commands. And that's how it is. That's how you record the effect and listen to the effects of your incoming sample in real time. You have to have it coming directly in from the source. Okay. Also, on the CD, the internal CD page, the monitor has to be on anyway here for you to hear anything. So, because it's internal, it's coming from inside. So the monitor has to be on, yeah? So here, you can use the Q effects without getting any feedback because it's all internal inside the machine. Like I said, it doesn't work on main out. So on your main out setting, this setting here, it doesn't work here, okay? But it works here. Q-Link effects works here. So it's all internal. So you can actually listen to the effects. I'll show you right now. So if I press the Q effects button, quick effects, we go over to, let's just go to this one. This is the one we had on earlier on. Okay, 4 effects at one time. Okay, so if I come out of this, close. Now let's just press play. So that's it. That's how you use the quick effects. Okay, so I've just showed you several examples of how to use the sampler and how to sample on the MPC 4000. So when you've got all your samples that you want, you press the sample button. If you want to look at your samples, just press the sample button there and it comes up with this list right here. Okay, and it displays the sample rate and the bit rate and whether it's stereo or mono. As you can see, that last one there was mono, 24-bit. Okay, so you can alter the bit rate. You can alter the bit rate during sampling, but you can't alter the sample rate. That's on another page. You can turn it up to 96 kilohertz or 48 kilohertz, 48,000. Yeah, but that's on another screen, another page completely. Also, when you want to save, when you're finished, you just press the save button. When you want to save your samples, you just press the save button and you get your page come up here. And you can save whatever you want from here. Say this is another video, so I won't be covering this subject in full, but I will be doing a video on saving and loading. So yeah, that's how you save anyway, in case you didn't know. So yeah, so basically that's it. That's how you sample in an MPC 4000, and it's another reason why you should buy one as soon as possible. So anyway, that's it for another video, and I hope to see you again. And also, if I've missed anything out in this video, just leave a comment in the comment section and I'll reply to that. Okay, peace.